Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Arcane Assist. This is our second episode of our Challenger series with Tim hot off of a win with Thagrosh1 and me coming in with Kromac2, as you could probably tell from the title of the video. Tim, why don't you go over your list? You're going first.
Sure. So last time I played against John, and I'm still locked into Thagrosh1. I picked him because he's a really good generalist caster. As you've seen if you watched the previous episode already, I talk a little bit about why he's good in kind of an open meta, which is really what we're playing in. I'm glad to not be seeing trolls again, because RFP totally negating my feet is a problem. But I'm facing down Circle, and Evan's list includes Ghetorix, so he has access to a source of snacking that I'm...
Not anymore?
Really? Oh, he can't warp for snack? Oh, he warps Murderous instead,
He warps
right?
Murderous now.
Yeah, okay, cool. So no RFP, so my feet is 100% on the table. I changed up the list I'm playing a little bit. I don't have a Sacral Vault in this list, and I'm including a larger battle group. I've got 2 Carniveans, so I'm hoping to piece trade really aggressively with super powerful, high armor threatening pieces, and then use my feet to leverage that advantage and close out the game.
I lied, he has snacking.
Okay, cool. So Ghetorix, who has access to snacking, is a relevant thing for me to play around. Don't worry, I already played around it for an entire game, so the fact that Evan was unaware of it is totally fine.
See, they actually replaced Warp Hyper Aggressive. Continue.
Yeah, that's better. So I'm pretty excited about this particular matchup. I think Evan brought a lot of armor cracking tools, and I brought a lot of armor tools, so it's going to be an interesting battle. But this is the kind of list that I think I would still drop into a beast heavy circle list, despite some sources of RFP. I think I've got a game to play with Thagrosh here.
And what do you think you would pair this with in like a tournament pairing?
Sure. My opinion on the subject of War Machine in general is if you bring armor cracking, you should also bring more armor cracking. So I'd probably pair this with something like Fianna, who's really exciting, which is what Jake paired in the War Machine Weekend Invitational. For anybody who watched any of those games, Thagrosh1 was one of his lists. This is a different version of that list. This is the kind of thing that is... designed to go into a bunch of jacks or a bunch of beasts or just piece trade and pressure really aggressively. I'd probably pair this with Lilith 3, Abby 2, Fiona 2, versus Fianna 2, whatever pronunciation you choose. I might actually pair this with Thagrosh 2. I know that's a weird complementary pairing to talk about, but I think he can solve a lot of problems. Thagrosh 1 being a really powerful toolbox caster means I'm looking for boards who have good placement for my Hellmouth. And I'm looking for matchups that have... I can play him to matchups that have a lot of access to RFP. It's not great, but I'm looking for matchups that don't have kind of tools to address all of the puzzles that I'm bringing for people. So that means that I'm open-minded about what I can pair this with. And I can really play this kind of in the... hammer and anvil style, where this is my anvil against which I'm expecting people to crash with armies that are incapable of destroying it effectively, and then I want to bring that with a kind of laser scalpel legion list that's designed to alpha strike someone super hard, hit them really, really effectively, and bring a ton of damage cracking, which I think you can see in a lot of legion casters that they have access to. So I'm okay with that pairing. I probably don't want to put this list into like Ossian, because he just blows up 3 heavies and is like, sup, that was cool, next turn. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this and do a lot of the game. Which is why I brought him for the Challenger Series, because I'm expecting to face a lot of the game.
If your win streak keeps up, yes.
If my win streak keeps up, that's true. This is the point in our video where I want to disclose that losing this game with Thagrosh1, which is not a spoiler, just if I do lose, I will be switching to Helena. That's the Battlebox caster for Retribution. So she's my drop if I lose this game. Evan, why don't you tell us about what you brought, what your tools are, what the list is about, and who you'll be switching to if you lose.
For sure. So I'm playing Kromac2 in this matchup. He's one of my favorite casters in the game. I played him a crap ton in Mark II. And in this particular game, I decided more heavies was better because he can bring one back regardless of what list he takes. So, and after seeing the previous battle report where he only took 3, I felt 4 was a safe bet. Turns out he also brought 4 today. Because apparently the Sacral Vault wasn't doing enough work for him. So my plan in this matchup revolves particularly around Alten Ashley and Lanyssa Ryssyl, and hoping I cripple this Beast's Spirit and then crit Stationary it with Lanyssa Ryssyl, and then Alten moves on to another Beast as I continue to try and crit Stationary another. And then eventually I use my Feral to walk up to something with Speed 8, throw it against a wall or whatever. That's 2 beasts out of commission, and I still haven't killed anything for him to feet back and just murder me. That's the plan. And after that, I feel like I'm in a good position to kill 2 heavies, and then he feats back 1, and then I still have 4 heavies. Sounds like a solid plan to me. And I also have on the list a unit of Skinwalkers for staying power, because Warpwolves don't really have that, even with the +2 armor for feet. Ghetorix can stick around with Spiny Growth and the feet, because 1421 is a disgusting stat line that should never be possible. And it's even worse with Baldur 2.
It's true.
Yeah, that's about it. If in a tournament pairing, I'd probably pair this with either Wormwood or Tanith or now Una, because they're all really good casters that are good into a lot of things. Probably Wormwood, because what's good against Wormwood? Thagrosh1? I feel like Kromac can take out a couple Griffins, maybe survive that.
Sure, yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, without further ado, enjoy the game.
All right, so hopping right into the lists, I have Kromac2 with his battle group of all the flavors of Warpwolf, with Ghetorix, a Pureblood, a Stalker, and a Pharaoh, with some Skinwalkers with UA, Alten Ashley, Lanyssa Ryssyl, and a Gobber chef.
Whizzle wuzzle.
Whizzle wuzzle. So the main purpose is just primal on Warpwolves, kill heavies, go, go, go.
Seems pretty good. You've also got access to Wraithbane. Nice big spray. It's super solid.
Yeah.
Cool. On my side of the board, as I mentioned already, I've got Thagrosh1. Thagrosh1 has in his battle group 2 Carniveans, a Typhon, the Typhon, and Proteus. So I've got the 2 giant character heavy war beasts. I've got the big, nasty, tanky, spiny growth heavy war beasts. And then I've got 2 Hellmouths who are distantly deployed on the 20-inch line there. They've got the tentacles, so they're going to just jam for days. That's the plan there. And then I've got 2 Forsaken. I've got a Spell Martyr, and I have a Shepherd.
Sounds good.
Pretty good for Thagrosh, yeah. So my plan here is, no matter what you kill, it's going to be worth at least 19 points. I'm going to feed back 19 points, and you're going to spend the better half of the first 3 or 4 turns just killing Hellmouth tentacles and getting no work done on real parts of my army.
Yep, it's a pain.
Yep. So that's the plan. We'll see how it pans out. We're playing Recon, as you can probably see, and we laboriously define the terrain.
Yep. It's on the screen now.
Yep.
Ta-da!
Yay.
Magic! All right. Let's roll. So, Tim, I believe you have first turn.
I do. So I'm just going to jam here. I left a little pocket of space. Both Hellmouths are placed in the zone, and just far enough away from the objective that I can stick a couple heavies there. So Thagrosh, for free, with his Draconic Affinity, it's not called that. It's called Legion, Blighted, Attuned Spirit. Anyway, he's got a rule where he gets to cast an Animus for free. He casts Spiny Growth on himself. Throws up Fog of War and puts Draconic Blessing on Proteus. He's camping 2. I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like camping 2 is basically where Thagrosh lives. I throw down a proxy base here to see if I ran a tentacle, if it could engage Alten Ashley, or if I killed one and spawned it with their tentacle rule. I can't. So I just run one out of formation, engage Alten Ashley. The plan here is he has to kill a tentacle if Alten wants to aim. It's not super spectacular, but it's there. Most of them just trying to be a bully with these tentacles. These ones ran, and they all stay in formation. 2 of them are in the rubble, so they're benefiting from the cover advantage there, and the other one is just deep into the zone. Just trying to jam. Typhon runs up, just gets on the hill. I run a Carnivean up, and it gets into the zone, but the placement of the Hellmouth and the objective there actually give me a really poor lane for a charge, so it may have actually been a mistake to put the Hellmouths where I did. Lesson learned. Proteus, who has Draconic Blessing, runs up and does the same thing, and the Extreme Carnivean runs into the forest, giving itself concealment, and gets a Fury for running as well. The 2 Forsaken move up. Each of them take 1 Fury off of Typhon and Proteus respectively. And my Spell Martyr runs and gets into the forest. Spell Martyr's lost a point of speed but gained Pathfinder. That's probably a net nerf, but they're 1 point now, so beggars and choosers and whatnot.
So here I'm measuring to see if Kromac can get that tentacle. He can. It's a free corpse. Might as well kill it with Kromac. Also seeing whether or not the Pureblood can go up and spray 2 tentacles. He can, so I'm going to try and do that as well. It's pretty good because even though they're in the rubble, sprays don't care. So I need 5s to hit, and if I hit, I need to roll a 3 on 1 dice, or I can boost and roll a 3 on 2, and it's pretty likely to kill them. So we're just going to start by doing that.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Kromac collects corpses, and as showcased in the previous battle report, Tentacles sure collects corpses. So you hit once with the Pureblood and miss the other one, I think. Is that right?
Yep. Because I boosted the first one, was like, I don't need to boost 2 5s, and then I should have. And then I kill the 1 tentacle pretty handily. Gonna use the Skinwalkers to clear off 2 more tentacles here, just because 2 of them are in charge range of Skinwalkers.
Yeah, I mean, you can pre-measure anything. I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive about pre-measuring threat ranges on this, but really the goal of the tentacles is to just be that tar-pitting first wave so that my heavies can kind of jam into Evan's heavies. If I'd been smarter about this, I would have given him fewer pieces, but yeah, beggars and choosers and whatnot.
Yeah, and I only get 1 charge on each and run another model in for gang, but it does the trick.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything out of these tentacle deaths, but theoretically denying board. I'm going to spawn a couple more and hopefully steal some things with them, so there's at least that.
So here's where Kromac is going to go and punch a tentacle. Originally, I was debating between putting Vengeance, or Vengeful, rather, on something, and Awakened Spiriting Ghetorix. Instead, I decided to Spiny Growth myself just because I'm getting up pretty far. Like, I can eat some Carnivean sprays from where I am, and Proteus has a pretty decent reach. So I decided to Spiny Growth just to be safe, so I go up to arm 20. And then Awakened Spirit on Ghetorix means that he can charge, get work done, and then after getting work done, put Spiny Growth on himself, which makes him arm 19, which is pretty good. So, Tentacle's dead. I stand and aim with Alten Ashley, hits Typhon, does 5 damage to his spirit. Actual gunshot does nothing, and then he repos back into the forest.
5 damage to his spirit, though. That's Alten. That's what he's all about.
Lanyssa, with Vendetta, kills that tentacle with her Ice Bolt.
Yep, cover ain't got nothing against boosted magic 7s.
And Ghetorix just kind of tramples up and casts Spiny Growth for free.
Nice. So you're obviously very aggressively committed to the zone, and you actually did real work to my army that I maybe should have anticipated. This is a good turn for you, Evan.
Yeah, originally I was like, I'm pretty far back because I had to do charges and attack things instead of running. But I took a significant chunk out of the Hellmouth. Like, there's not a single tentacle left for the 1 Hellmouth up top, which is good because he can only spawn 1 per turn.
Yep.
And there's only 1 left in the unit on the bottom, so he's not going to be able to drag 3 things and do a ridiculous amount of work or jam really hard. So your turn 2.
Yeah, so I reave the Fury that's out there. I actually don't have enough to reave back to full, but Thagrosh always goes back to full because he has the soul of Everblight inside him. So he upkeeps Draconic Blessing, but I drop Fog of War. I decide Fog of War doesn't actually end up mattering very much here. It's a bit of a pickle. I would have liked to have more pieces, and I would have if I hadn't have just given them away for nothing, so #lessons. My plan here is if I can roll a hard 8, I can pull a Warpwolf in. If I pull a Warpwolf in, I can kill it without anything going into threat range, and that's the game. Like that locks up the whole piece trading math for me in a really big way. It requires a hard 8, which is probably not going to happen, but you never know.
So when I originally moved up this Stalker, I took into account the spawning range of the Hellmouth, did not take into account reach.
Yeah. The base size plus the spawning range plus reach means they can dig really, really deep. So I'm going to hit the Warpwolf with the first one here. They're not getting a press forward order.
Skinwalker.
The Skinwalker. Hit the Skinwalker with the first one. Needs a 6 to hit. He rolls the 9. He hits. POW 10 does actually 1 point of damage, which is surprising to me. Tentacle gets removed from play. Drags directly toward the Maw. The Maw makes an attack against it. Hits. Dice -3.
Leaves him on 3.
Leaves him on 3 boxes. That's okay. So the Maw has a second attack, which misses. I take it. Basically, each time I hit, I generate a free attack, and then if I don't give them a run order, the Maw still gets its initial.
Sorry, you missed the tentacle on the Stalker. And,
oh yeah, sorry.
And
I did the tentacle on the Stalker next to see if I could use that free attack from the Maw on the Stalker as its second attack. That one missed, which is what we were all calling. I need 8s, and I rolled a 5. And then the second Maw attack does kill the Warpwolf. The Skinwalker. So I got a tentacle out there who's probably going to die. I got a Hellmouth, who did a little bit of work. The threat of the Hellmouths is often more powerful than the actual function of the Hellmouths. On the top here, I'm sending Typhon in. The Warpwolf had to warp speed to run to where he is. So I'm really hoping that if I just boost hit some sprays and boost damage, like 3 dice -2 sprays, 2 of which are boosted, 1 of which isn't, are going to do, 9, 18, plus another 5 is 23 damage. That's a big chunk of Warpwolf. I'm hoping I cripple some stuff that matters, maybe soften him up, and initiate the peace trade.
in the end, he's left with 10 boxes and fully functional.
Yeah, it would have been nice if he wasn't, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you hit every time. That's pretty good.
I did. So my plan here is you're going to have to go in and get aggressive. So I'm going to pull back some fury from Typhon with a Forsaken. And that Forsaken is going to be in a position when you commit the Feral or commit Ghetorix or commit whatever you have to commit that you're going to go heavy on fury. And that Forsaken is going to walk up and Blight Bomb you to put a ton of work onto a heavy and give me an advantage in terms of attrition.
Sounds like a plan.
It does, however, and there's always that however, as soon as I get here, I realize how close I am to all of your pieces. I think Ghetorix is in a position to walk over that wall and attack me. I think the Feral is in a position to charge me. And afraid of snacking, I feel like I need to make it cost you more to do this. So I'm going to have to send Thagrosh up. And I'm going to make you have to work really hard for this.
So I'm assuming this is like you want me to have to primal, so I have to lose a beast next turn?
Yeah, or even if you don't have to primal, I want you to have to warp strength on Ghetorix instead of warping snacking, so you don't RFP me. Like I want to force you to really commit to killing Typhon this turn.
All right, makes sense. And it definitely hurts you that because of Alten Ashley, you can't excessive healing to help prevent that.
Yeah, having my my spirit's not out right now, although it probably will be in a second, but I can't heal this turn. I can't force to regenerate. I can't get medicated by the shepherd. Like there's a lot of healing in the list that Alten Ashley just completely shuts off. So Tentacle activates, whacks, drags, does some damage to him with the Maw, gets its second attack, does some more damage. So deliberately dragging this guy in here, I wanted to pull him in with the Hellmouth so Thagrosh could charge instead of have to walk and get just a little deeper with my -2 strength aura.
Yeah, Death Shroud, I believe is what it's called, yes?
Yes, yeah, Death Shroud.
It's really good.
It's fantastic. So I'm walking up with the Carnivean here. Carnivean just Spiny Growths. Carnivean had to get out of the way because it was blocking line of sight to that Warpwolf. Thagrosh charges wide, gets his 2-inch melee in on it, turns to face, makes his first attack against it, needs a 5 to hit. He spinies himself for free because of the Attuned Spirit Legion. He misses. He hits. Power Strength 16. Doesn't kill it.
Misses.
Buys an attack, misses. Buys an attack, hits. Kills. Finally kill him. It cost me 2 more fury than I thought it would. I would have rather been up here camping 5, but instead I'm up here camping 3. That's okay. I feel like camping 3, I'm okay.
What's your plan for the lower half of the board?
Well, I don't have a great plan. I have really jammed Proteus in there, so I need to unpack him a little bit, move him up above the tangent of the objective and of the Hellmouth. And I'm going to stick the Carnivean up. I'm going to try to put him in a position where you could charge him, but you're probably going to be dealing with Spiny Growth and the Death Shroud. So I think I've given you an uncomfortably difficult vector. And then I've got a Forsaken. Forsaken's going to come over, steal the Fury back off of the Carnivean who's Spiny Growth himself. And that gives me a couple of options of what he's doing. So at this point, I've got loaded to bear Forsakens, who have 5 and 4 Fury respectively, who can wreck whatever stalkers you send in on my pieces. I've got Spiny Growth to do a bit of attrition-y damage on the way in. And I'm hoping that I can peace trade well. I'm expecting to kill 2 heavies. I'm expecting to feat 1 back, and I'm expecting to kill 2 heavies in reprisal.
So, I feel at this point that he's put Thagrosh really close. Like, close enough that I could probably go for an assassination. Like, it seems like a legit thing. So I start off with Alten Ashley to cripple Typhon's Spirit.
Typhon's Spirit's crippled.
And my plan is going to be one of 2 things. Idea number 1, I use Lanyssa to, after I've crippled Typhon's Spirit, to try and stationary him. Then I throw Typhon at Thagrosh, knock both of them down, charge in with Kromac, and kill Thagrosh. That's plan number 1. Eventually I find out, unless I Hunter's Mark Thagrosh, I'm not going to be able to get in with Kromac.
Yeah,
okay.
I totally forgot that with Hunter's Mark, I'm like an inch or two too far up the board.
Yeah. Then the plan becomes I already crippled Typhon's Spirit, but I can still throw Typhon at Thagrosh. Well, not targeting Thagrosh because throw rules, but in the direction of Thagrosh and knock him down in order for this assassination run to be a lot more plausible. At this time, we're looking up throw rules because they're silly and we can't remember how they work.
Throws are kind of complicated in the game, and it's quite possible that we'll see changes to throws come January. It's one of the things Privateer Press has put on their list of things they want to look at making changes to. Just because something gets looked at having changes made to it doesn't mean it actually ends up having changes made to it. It's just that it gets thoroughly examined before they either conclude it's in an acceptable place or it's not. But ultimately, the course of the throw is going to be the Feral warps speed to go to 8, gets in 1-inch melee of Typhon, tries to hit Typhon at defense 13, which he needs a 6, makes an opposed strength test, which because the Feral will be at -2 strength, Typhon actually has a pretty reasonable chance of beating him on. And then throw at the Hellmouth just in the zone, clipping Thagrosh and the Hellmouth.
Yeah. So the only issues with this assassination run are I can't get anything but Kromac in on Thagrosh.
Probably enough with your feet?
It's probably enough with my feet because I go to power strength 19 back down to 17, which is only dice off 1 thanks to your Spiny Growth.
Yep.
And I'm auto-hitting because you're going to be knocked down because unless I hit with the throw, or if I miss with the throw, I don't do it. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
So here's that. Typhon goes, hits Hellmouth, boom. The knockdown happens.
Yep.
Great.
Thagrosh gets least displaced a little tiny bit forward, which I think is the other reason you really needed the Hunter's Mark, because you're expecting me to shunt a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the Typhon is knocked down. The Hellmouth cannot be knocked down. The Hellmouth takes a little bit of damage. Actually takes no damage because it gets 1 less die. Typhon takes a pretty reasonable amount of damage, and Thagrosh takes 1 point of damage.
Yep. So the other issue I have with this assassination run, after I Hunter's Mark, that makes it a little bit iffy is I want to go in with Kromac first because I want to feat so I can actually do work on the Spiny Growth heavies. And that means I can't knock off a couple transfers beforehand. By that I mean I can't damage his war beasts so that there's a chance of backlash or one of his targets is particularly damaged and he doesn't want to lose a beast because of transferring.
Right, exactly. He can't bully my transfer targets.
So, going in with the Skinwalkers, just trying to get as much stuff done before I go in with this assassination run. I run in Skinwalkers up the zone.
They also mini-feat this turn, right?
They also mini-feat this turn, just because I don't think I'm going to really have any other opportunities to use it.
And this prevents the Hellmouth from issuing a press forward order.
It's true.
Which is relevant because, they could get work done if they get the charge, the POW 10s.
Yeah, so the Pureblood sprays over the Carnivean, a Hellmouth Maw, and a Forsaken. I boost to hit the Carnivean and the Forsaken, and I hit all 3 of them. I boost damage on the Carnivean, do like 2 points. Boost damage on the Hellmouth. I don't do anything, I don't think.
No, you actually did good work to the Hellmouth. Your dice minus 4,
sorry.
you did 6 points or 7? Yeah.
I did 7 points. I left it on 1. And then I just killed the Forsaken outright. Don't even boost it.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Dice even on the Forsaken. Rolls enough to kill it.
Yeah. So I activate Kromac. I feat. And I'm going in. So, automatically hitting charge attack. Dice minus 1. I also have a corpse from earlier. So I have 8. I have 8 fury as opposed to 7, effectively.
And that's like a 13 damage. I transfer it to the to Proteus, should I say?
Yeah. Do average damage there. Then I roll double ones for damage, and this is looking a little bit south.
So I've taken 2 of these hits now. The other one does 3 more damage. I take that as well. I'm happy that Evan's rolling low here. I transfer the spike.
Yep.
Spike goes to the Carnivean on the very, very bottom. He takes a pretty good hit.
I roll double ones again for damage.
That's bad.
I roll 4 for damage. Then I roll double ones a 3rd time for damage. In this assassination run that looked pretty cheery at the beginning, I was like, great, he put his caster in charge range of Kromac. This will be great.
This is the better lucky than good moment in the battle report.
Yeah. It's looking bad for Kromac. I still have Ghetorix, who can get in on a Carnivean. I still have a Stalker, who can get in on a Carnivean. Unfortunately, I've already activated both the Pureblood, Kromac, and the Feral, so I can't Primal or Wraithbane either of them to get through Spiny Growth.
Which is a bit of a problem.
It is. It wouldn't be so much of a problem if your Death Shroud wasn't a thing.
Yeah, the 4 points of armor swing help Legion Heavies a lot.
Yeah. And because I would have +2 from my feet and then +2 from both Primal and Warp Strength, so I'd be at effectively +2, which normally does it on Legion Heavies with Circle Heavies. But the armor swing is just huge with Thagrosh1.
# Death Shroud.
Especially because it's a 10-inch aura.
He got +1 command. So that bubble that used to be 9 inches is 10 inches now, which I think he affects a whole gamut of board he didn't used to.
Yeah.
So you hit with your charge attack with the Ghetorix.
Yep.
And this is power strength 19?
So with Warp Strength, it goes to 21, but your -2 strength aura takes it to 19.
19. So your dice -1.
Mm-hmm.
You actually roll pretty well. You have a solid start. Your second attack with the bite does 5 or 6 points of damage, which is fine because it's dice -3. You take a couple of points back from Spiny Growth.
Yeah, Spiny Growth is rolling a little below average. It's mostly 1s and 2s.
I mean, they all count. They all add up eventually.
Mm-hmm. Especially on Circle Heavies.
Yep.
Where they don't have a lot of health to begin with. So, in the end, don't kill a Carnivean, which is a little unfortunate because it's currently in the back arc of Kromac.
It is. Actually, I think the vector Kromac charged on. We bump a model at some point here, but I think we double check, and the vector you charge on, you have the Carnivean just in your front arc.
Yeah. So Stalker charges in this Carnivean, gets both his claw and sword in range. Yep. Actually, outside of Death Shroud. So I
you're
do
outside
have
Death Shroud. This is also a Carnivean I transferred to a couple of fairly substantial hits.
Yeah.
So you've got a good chance of finishing it here. It takes a big chunk of damage, and on the second initial, you kill it with the claw.
So I lightning strike myself and hit the Hellmouth and kill it.
Yep, Hellmouth dies.
And so I sprint back here, just thinking that if I survive this round, I can kill the objective and probably another heavy.
What do you think your odds of surviving this round are?
Not fantastic. You have to miss some attacks, which at Def 14 isn't terrible. But if you hit me, your Legion Heavies, you've probably got Dragon's Blood on something. And Carniveans hit like trucks.
Yeah, Draconic Blessing helps them out a lot. It puts them to POW 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the moment where the table gets bounced, the thing gets rocked a little bit. I apologize for that. I mean, fortunately, we had proxy bases under basically everything, and we knew where stuff was, which is another reason the proxy bases are really awesome. But we just had to correct some facing a little bit. So I pull up the cloud. It's also noteworthy that when Kromac went in the cloud, he took, 4 points of damage?
3.
3 points of damage. I spiked pretty hard and put a couple of points of damage into him, which at this point, it's everything counts. So here are the problems at the top of Tim's turn here. Speaking in the third person, I don't know why. At the top of my turn here, I'm looking at Draconic Blessings on Proteus. Everything's really badly jammed up. Proteus is going to have a hell of a time getting in on Kromac with anything other than its 4-inch reach. And that's only one attack. Mat 7, needing 7s to hit, is really awkward. I can't get the Carnivean into a back arc, and I really want to headbutt you down so that I don't have to deal with your defense 14 all day. But I come up with a better plan. Thagrosh spends 1 to shake, advances into base to base, and casts, for free, because of Attuned Spirit Legion, he casts Crawling Chaos, giving you -2 defense.
Which is pretty huge.
Yeah, taking 14 to 12 is a big deal. So now I need 5s to hit you instead of 7s to hit you, which went from 50-50 to better than 50-50. So I'm going to hit you. I decided at this point that because your armor is, 20?
Yeah.
Armor 20 because of your feet, that I have to Draconic Blessing myself. So Thagrosh is now on 5 Fury, makes his first attack with Draconic Blessing. This is POW 14. Does -6. I put 3 points of damage into you. I've now got Rapture, my big attack, which misses. I buy an attack. It hits. Dice -2. I do 3 more points of damage to you. So my assassination run is going about as well as Evan's did. I've got 2 more bot attacks. I miss. Buy another attack. Hits. Off 2. Puts 5 damage and finishes you off. Just finishes you. Now available still to try to finish this off is Typhon, who stands up, has no spirit, forfeits movement to stand, is in melee, and then at mat 7 tries to make 3 5s to hit that are all past 17, so that's -3. So I had a couple more cracks at it, a couple more possibilities, but basically Thagrosh had to do the lion's share, the retaliation, and I got lucky in both cases. So Evan, you're switching after this to...
Zadesh 2.
To Zadesh 2. To Scorn and to Zadesh 2.
Yep.
He's a caster you picked up at War Machine Weekend.
Yeah.
Excited about him?
Oh, yes.
Yep. So that's our second game in the Challenger series. How are you feeling about it so far?
I felt pretty good about this game. Playing Zadesh 2 into Doomy 1. I'm not sure how that's actually going to go. It should be an interesting game.
Cool. Well, look forward to it next week, and thanks for joining us, folks.
See you next Monday.